Hello, my name is Robert Feaster. You can check me out at www.funkyguitar.com. And today I'm going to be talking about a beginner's technique, and that is to arch your left hand fingers by pushing your wrist forward. So wrist forward, and that allows you to attack the fretboard perpendicularly, and it allows the other strings to ring. Because if you don't, you're going to be muting like that. See, that high E string on that D chord is not sounding, but if I push my wrist forward, lo and behold, it does. Especially like on a G chord or a C. See, just by leaning it over the wrong way, you'll hear extra notes or mutes, or you won't hear the true ringing of the chord. So when you bring your wrist forward, it keeps the other strings opening, the open strings ringing freely. And it's funny when you play blues licks and things. That's a different technique entirely. It's farther down the road, but you'll see my fingers aren't straight up and down. They're very flat because I'm barring a couple of strings. But for these open chords, it's the opposite. Even this F chord, which you're barring two strings, look at my other fingers. Now also notice that they're fairly, in addition to being perpendicular to the fretboard, they are mostly parallel with the frets. Now down at the nut, there can be a little angle, but it shouldn't be way out like that. A little angle is fine, but straight, or as straight as possible, is good. Make an A this way, or I think better this way. So the wrist comes forward, and that allows the fingers to attack the fretboard straight on. And while I'm on a G chord, make the G with 2, 3, and 4. Do not make it with 1, 2, and 3. The 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4-fingered G has its uses. Rock songs like that's fine, you know. That's a different sound, but this nice, rich, acoustic, folky G, that's another thing. You'll never do a G sus if you have your G like this, and getting from G to G7 is just not easy. But if you have the G fingered correctly, it's just a one-finger move. So be sure to make the G with 2, 3, and 4, and be sure to keep your fingers arched. Drop your wrist, or drop your shoulder, and bring your wrist forward. From the side view, and if you lean it, you will mute the strings. That's why, you must put your wrist forward. And the proof is in the sound. If it sounds like this, that's not right. You're not doing something right. And 90% of the time, the solution is just to push that wrist forward. And what I'll say about it, if you say that it feels unnatural, well, it does. I mean, I'm experiencing the same kind of unnatural feeling because I'm a beginner at tennis, and the tennis stroke doesn't feel like swinging a baseball bat or anything like it's supposed to feel like. It feels weird, but you know when you hit it right that you'll repeat it. And it's the same with the guitar. Your ears will tell you when you hear that. Hopefully your hands will and your muscles will remember, oh, I have to remember exactly how my hands were when I made that lovely sound, because if it sounds like this, that, and you keep practicing it that way, you're not going to help yourself at all. You'll just remember how to do it wrong. So even if it feels a little bit weird with your wrist forward and maybe your shoulder dropped a little bit, but when you hear that sound, you'll want to repeat it. So remember, wrist forward. Make that a mantra. Wrist forward. The basic chords: C, G, D, A, E minor, A minor, and D minor. Those are the basic 8. And then, of course, the first rite of passage is F, which we all hate. And that does have a bar. But look at the other 2 fingers. Look at how arched they are. And the wrist is forward no matter what the chord. That allows the other strings to ring. And it's true for a lot of single note passages as well. If you want the other strings to ring, especially if you're arpeggiating, you really must keep the wrist forward and the fingers arched, because if you don't, that's what's going to sound muffled. So wrist forward.